Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. And we are live. Welcome everybody. June 30. June 30 in the year 2023. Affirmative action is officially called what it is. Discrimination. The Supreme Court of the United States of America has ruled that affirmative action in colleges is an illegal practice in America. Although it had its time in the 1960s, blacks are no longer pushed to the front of the line based on skin color. It is now official. And poof, maybe up in smoke goes California reparations. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday to you. It's a great day in America, in my view. That's really the story right now. The story is that the Supreme Court of the United States of America, in a 6-3 decision, has decided that affirmative action in college admissions is illegal. Right? Meaning that instead of a skin color based admission process, which we now have, where alleged, people of minorities or whatever that even means in America, where everybody's so mixed up, they move to the front of the line. All right. Oh, this person scored 97 on the SAT or whatever test to get into college. They scored a 97 and they're white. And this person over here scored a 91 and they're black. Give the black a 100, give the black an extra 10 points and push them to the front of the line, right? Because of historical racism, the historical plight of the black American. So all this stuff is over now, at least at the college level. And who could we thank for that? The decision at the Supreme Court was 6-3. The 3 Supreme Court justices that Donald J. Trump appointed were all behind it. Now, you might say in a racist mind, if your mind is racist, you might say, well, Donald Trump he betrayed blacks. He betrayed blacks by turning his back on affirmative action. No, he didn't. Donald Trump gave you the breath that you needed to move forward and stop worrying about your skin color and get busy doing the work that you would like to do. So Trump, instrumental in putting those Supreme Court justices in place. And now we have a decision where affirmative action, at least in college admissions, places like Harvard and Yale and every other college that people go to, is now illegal. But do we stop here? What about in the workplace? What about in New York City, where if you take the sanitation test and you're white, you get 100, some black guy who got a 95 gets an extra 10 points. He got a lower score on the test, but he gets an extra 10 points, so he's at 105. He beats you out. And you got to wait for him to get hired and either fired or die before you can get the job. So we shouldn't stop there. I think the Supreme Court decision is very important. It's and it'll have effects across other opportunities in America, not just college. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Champs in the house, Sean Kane, Jim Gerard, what's up? William Smith. Good morning. We are rolling. So that's what we're going to talk about. There's the Supreme Court justice. Can you guess who descended? Who were the 3 descending voices? You had the new black woman the sixth Jackson 5 member, Kanye Jackson Brown, right? She said, no, it's racism. And Alito and Sotomayor also said that they descended. All of the others, the three fine white people in the background, and the three senior members of the Supreme Court, including Roberts and Thomas and Thompson, excuse me, are all we're all in favor of it. So it's quite an amazing day in America, if you care to look at it that way. And we're going to look at that fascinating story. My name is Marcus Conte, doing educational philosophical live streams. If I were around in the 60s, I'd be saying pretty much the same thing. My program, in my view, doesn't change. It doesn't. It ages well. You know, I'm the same as I was, and I'll be the same as I am going forward. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about America today. It really is. So we're gonna. If you want to watch every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we're here on YouTube for you. If you want to donate through Zelle, shorthappylife@gmail.com, also PayPal. There's a tip jar up, and Patreon. Let's start here. So this is a great video, right? So dolphins, we'll start here with some good news, right? Good animal news. Good animal news coming at you. So down there in Louisiana, there was a storm and a flood, and a couple of dolphins somehow got flung into the bay, and they were trapped and they couldn't get out. All right, smart dolphins. So instead of the savages going in there and capturing the dolphins and cutting them up and eating them, or just torturing them, which humans like to do, they freed them. So here's the scene down there in Louisiana. You see these fine people. They found a dolphin stuck in the bay. In their estimation, there was no way for the dolphin to get out, and they probably see this happen quite often, where the dolphin can get sick or die because he can't get out into the ocean. Now, I disagree there. They just poked a hole in his ear, some kind of tracking device. Why do you got to track the fucker? I mean, just let him go. All right, so, but anyway, the good news, the dolphin's going to leave with a little bit of a puncture in his ear, but they're taking care of him. You see him; they're bathing them on their way back to the ocean, and free at last, free. We are free, and they're going to free the dolphin. And there we go. I love this stuff. I think this is what humans are supposed to do. You see how all the humans came together to help the fish and not kill the fish and eat the fish? Bravo! Humans score another point. So sparks fly at California reparations task force meeting. Right now, the Supreme Court has ruled that affirmative action in colleges is illegal and unconstitutional, but the radicalized blacks in California still want their $5 million each for historical pain and suffering. So that's going on right now. They've had a final meeting. A final meeting. Where's my sparks fly? Where's my video? I had a video set up. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's watch.
I stand here representing the nameless, the faceless, people you will never meet, whose lives were impacted by the work of this task force. I stand here representing generations of Black cooks, criers, Weathers, Rogers, Skurlocks, who were enslaved and never paid, who were overworked, beaten, raped, stolen from, lied to, who never got the promise of 40 acres and a mule, who never received equal pay.
40 acres and a mule. I don't have 40 acres and a mule.
Equal treatment, and did not benefit from affirmative action or the promises of America, liberty and justice for all. To Governor Newsom, I don't think you have any idea what you have done. You have changed the course of history. This will begin a right or wrong that began centuries ago. To Dr. Weber, you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize.
All right, so they're kissing ass.
Let's repair this. First of all, America, from the evidence that they gave us, you're guilty. We at 1619, we was eating foo-foo. You kidnapped us, put a hate crime on us. That was the first one. Then you came here with all the other atrocities. When you brought us here, you raped our men, women, and kids. So therefore, you married us. Don't.
And who are you talking about exactly? Those people are all dead, you know. All of them from 1690. Who's still here? Who's still alive? Those people are dead. You can't blame the ancestral line. All white people are guilty. What? My white people came from Italy in the early 20th century. What the fuck are you talking about?
Treat us like
the early 19th century. Excuse me.
No cheap piece of meat. So therefore, our last name is American. So now it's the time for a divorce. What do you get in divorce? You get half the money, half the land, alimony, child support, attorney fees, and everything else. So that's what we want. And I tell you this, go to onepercenters.org.
I want to be an American. Now I want to sue American. I want to sue myself. I'm American, and now I want to sue my country for its historical errors, perceived errors. Right?
1619 is the new party. Forget these Democrats and Republicans. We all black, and we going for blackness, and we gonna go give reparations. Anybody from 1619, first day as a president, will give reparations.
Thank you.
Shit didn't work out so well. So let's unpack the Supreme Court affirmative action decision. That's in California. They got their final say. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has already said that despite the task force ruling that there should be reparations for every black to the tune of $5 million, it ain't going to happen in this lifetime, says Gavin Newsom.
In college admissions on Thursday. According to Harvard, which is one of the schools involved in the litigation, more than 40% of universities consider race to some degree. Justices were split along ideological lines. For more on this, let's bring in Jess Braven. He's a Supreme Court correspondent for the Wall Street.
You know what? I don't want to listen to these guys because they're stupid and they don't make sense. So, Supreme Court. Let's. That's what's going on with. Just go. Oh wait. I'm sorry. Let's go.
Colonel Jess, let's just start with the easy part. Explain the court's decision to overturn affirmative action.
Sure. This was a 6-3 decision. The conservatives, led by Chief Justice John Roberts, found that it violates equal protection to consider race in college admissions, that there are very, very few times that the Constitution permits government agencies or entities that receive government funds from discriminating based on race, and diversity in college admissions no longer qualified.
So check this out. Look at the vote. Look at the vote. Roberts, the Chief Justice, Clarence Thomas, Alito. I think I said Alito voted the other way. It was Keegan who voted the other way. Excuse me. Neil Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett. Barnett. I think they spelled their name wrong. Barrett? Is that a name? Barrett? I thought there was an N in there. Anyway, this is the vote. All right. Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett versus Keegan, Sotomayor, and the sixth Jackson, Ketanji. So you see how they voted. All women. It wasn't the blacks were split. Clarence Thomas, he's black, and he voted for it. Voted to get rid of affirmative action, but New Ketanji, she wasn't having it.
There were 3 dissenters, the liberals, who felt who took a very different view of what equality means under the Constitution, and we heard actually about 50 minutes of justices reading their opinions today, showing how seriously they took this issue.
As I understand it, the court had previously held in a previous ruling, I think from 2003, that the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment did allow the use of race in university admission plans because there was this compelling interest. So did...
Yeah, but that's affirmative action, you jerk off. Now it was not supposed to be permanent. These things are not permanent. They're temporary Band-Aids.
Is the new ruling that the court's previous view was wrong, or that the court's previous rule no longer holds because American society has moved on?
The latter, CBS, the latter, that America has moved on.
Chief Justice Roberts didn't exactly clarify that temporal question.
I don't want to listen to these guys because they don't know what they're talking about. Supreme Court outlaws affirmative action in college admissions in landmark decision. That's what we want to talk about. So the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action programs at Harvard, University of North Carolina, ruling that both institutions were in violation of the 14th Amendment and federal civil rights laws. Wow. The decision essentially ends the practice of overt racial consideration in higher education admissions and overturns, for all intent and purposes, the High Court's 2003 ruling, which found that colleges could consider race as one of the factors. Quote, eliminating, who we're hearing from, Chief Justice Roberts says, eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it. Oh, man, I'm feeling it. Thank you, Justice Roberts. Eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it, not just some of it or reversing it. It means eliminating it. And he says, quote, and the Equal Protection Clause, which we have accordingly held, applies, quote, without regard to any difference of race, of color, or of nationality. It is universal in its application. There we go. So, at Harvard, applications are initially scrutinized by a first read, who gives the prospective student a numerous score in 6 categories. All right, so they have a scoring system. And at the end of the scoring system, they're allowed to consider race. So what happens? All the radicalized left blacks vote for the black because they're allowed to consider it. And there's a long line of white people and or other than black people. They get pushed to the back of the line and don't get their fair shake at an education. Now, that's in our lifetime. Now, shouldn't I'm someone who was born in the 1960s. I have technically spent my whole life with affirmative action in place. And only now in my 50s, when I'm ready to die, well, I'm not ready to die yet, but soon, I get to see affirmative action fall apart, right? So shouldn't I get reparations for a life of injustice done to me, having blacks step in front of me, and that's okay, and I'm supposed to suck it up? All right. I don't know, maybe I'll start a campaign. Maybe I'll start a GoFundMe. The one white guy who I feel like I was discriminated in college, right? Because I'm white, and some black guy got the job that I was supposed to get. During a final, let's see what else we got here. Fascinating story, right? So what else? I like reading the comments of the justices. The Supreme Court, the Chief Justice concluded his opinion by saying that while colleges can consider an application's, quote, discussion of how race affected his or her life, be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise, universities may not simply establish through application essays or other means the regimen we hold unlawful today. All right. Roberts went on. The students must be treated based on his or her experience as an individual, not on the basis of race. Roberts went on. Many universities have for too long done just the opposite. And in doing so, they have concluded wrongly that the touchstone of individuals' identity is not challenges bested, skills built, or lessons learned, but the color of their skin. Our constitutional history does not tolerate that choice. Wow. Justice Roberts knocking the skin off the ball. Right, so again, Roberts was joined by Alito, Thomas, Barrett, and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch. In his concession, Thomas wrote, Clarence Thomas said this, quote, "The Constitution continues to embody a simple truth. Two discriminatory wrongs cannot make a right." Man, it's a tearjerker. It's a tearjerker for anyone who has dealt with, overt racism their whole life. You know what they're talking about, right? You got these radicalized racists running around accusing you of something that you had nothing to do with. And that's how I feel right now. Harvard and University of North Carolina have a history of racial discrimination, says Thomas, but neither have even attempted to explain how their current racially discriminated programs are even remotely traceable to their past discriminatory conduct, added Thomas, one of two black justices on the court. This is really good news. Quote, who we listening to now? I love these quotes by the justices. Who has time to read the whole case? You'd be there all day. Nor could they. The current race-conscious admissions programs take no account of ancestry, and at least for Harvard, likely have the effect of discriminating against some of the very ethnic groups against which Harvard previously discriminated. Jews. Quote, "All the while, Harvard and North Carolina ask us to blind ourselves to the burdens imposed on the millions of innocent applicants denied admission because of their membership in a currently disfavored race. The Constitution neither condemns nor permits such a result." All right, so let's read a descending Jackson, the Jackson Brown, the sixth Jackson 6, accused the majority of, quote, "let them eat cake, obviousness," and announced color blindness for all. Oh, she didn't like it. She wasn't having it. So again, descending Ketanji Jackson Brown says, quote, "But deeming race irrelevant in law does not make it so in life." What does that mean? The newest justice added, quote, "And having so detached itself from this country's actual past and present experience, the court has now been lured into interfering with the crucial work at these institutions." Wow, what a blind bitch. No one benefits from ignorance. So the messaging now from the left is that if you agree with this summation that this affirmative action / reverse discrimination is legal and constitutional, you are now fucking stupid. You're ignorant. Right? So that's what you're going to be called now. You're going to have blacks stand like this. These white people are ignorant about our suffering. Right? That's what she's promoting. Because that's who she is. That's who she was elected as, right? Who did Biden pick the black woman right here, Jackson 6, because she was black and a woman. That's why she's there. So is it odd that she has these opinions? No. She likes the affirmative action. She was placed on the Supreme Court because of affirmative action, right? Joe Biden used affirmative action to get Ketanji Jackson Brown on the Supreme Court through affirmative action. Right? Joe Biden did that. The sitting president did that while everybody was screaming racism. So he can't do it anymore. He can do it. See, this decision only stems into college admissions, but it has the weight now that other cases will come forward where, for example, in the workplace, which is probably even more prevalent, where blacks step to the front of the civil service lines all over New York City, for example, right? All those people that got stepped over should come forward and file a class action lawsuit against somebody, I don't know. What else? President Biden strongly disagreed. We cannot let this decision be the last word, says Biden. Let's look at Biden. Barack Obama said something interesting. I like Barack Obama. Trump chirped in. People with extraordinary ability and everything else necessary for success. Trump called it a great day for America. People with extraordinary ability and everything else necessary for success, including future greatness for our country, are finally being rewarded. This is the ruling everyone was waiting for, says Trump. And the results were amazing. It will also keep us competitive with the rest of the world. Our greatest minds must be cherished. And that's what this wonderful day has brought. We're going back to all merit-based. And that's the way it should be. Even Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, bent the knee a little bit, saying, quote, affirmative action allowed generations of students like Michelle and myself to prove we belong. Yes, it did. Now it's up to all of us to give young people the opportunity they deserve and help students everywhere benefit from new prospects. So Barack Obama, in classic Obama, form, he doesn't discredit the judgment. He likes the judgment. He says that was then, and this is now. We needed it somewhat. It was an eye popper maybe in the 60s, and now 60 years later, it's a dead horse. Get rid of it. So Barack Obama agrees with it too. Here's Joe Biden.
Who fight? President Biden firing back at the Supreme Court.
We cannot let this decision be the last word.
Emphatic that.
I want to just break to the markets before we do that, and the markets are open, looking big. Boom! Oh my God, we are fucking high flying mother effers right now, boy. Look at that thing go. Look at that baby go. What's all the news on Wall Street? Why is it going up? Because an inflation gauge tracked by the Federal Reserve falls to its lowest point in 2 years. Holy shit. An inflation index that is closely monitored by the Federal Reserve tumbled last month to its lowest level since April 2021, pulled down by lower gas prices and slower rising food costs. So it was a blowout inflation index number. The index showed the prices rose 3.8% as opposed to sharply down from 4.4%. That's a 0.6% tick down in inflation. So it looks like inflation, according to the numbers, is starting to go away a little bit. And the market is responding. Market's loving it. They're barking on Wall Street right now. You could hear them barking. Woof, woof, woof. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 229. NASDAQ up 139. S&P 500 up 36. NVIDIA up 7 this morning. Holy smokes. Rivian up another 23 cents to 16.23. Oh my God, what a fucking rip I missed there. Look at this rip up. Boom! Take off. Right, the last 3 days, on Rivian from 13.50. It's all the way up to 16.30. God damn it, I'm missing. I hate when I miss out. I'm in this right now. I'm in this rally right now, this NASDAQ rally. But that's the reason. Let's look at the big board and see what the big boys, other than Rivian, are doing right now. But Rivian on a tear right now. Rivian tearing up right now, tearing up the street at 16.20 per share. That's still pennies on the fucking amount of money that you can make. What else? Apple up another 2. Amazon up $1.39. Google up $1.36. Meta up $3 to $2.84. Microsoft up 4. Tesla up 3.5. Bitcoin up another $371.61 to $31,078. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon both up The war stocks, both up. Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, all up as well. Everything, hey, fuck it, man. Everything's up today, man. So that's what it's looking like right there. The markets are definitely appreciating the fact that inflation is going away. No doubt about it. 1% bump in the NASDAQ. And we're going higher. What were we looking at over here? We're looking at this. Oh, yeah. Let's listen to Joe Biden one more time.
President Biden firing back at the Supreme Court.
We cannot let this decision be the last word.
Emphatic that discrimination still exists. And when asked if the justices are a rogue court, the president with this striking attack on the conservative majority.
This is not a normal court.
Going even further on MSNBC.
Find it just so out of sorts with the basic value system of the American people.
No. Your value system, Joe, it's not out of whack with the value systems of America. Most Americans see equality as equality. In your fucking politically corrupt mind, you see blacks as an opportunity for votes. Therefore, you're sympathetic to anything they say, I think.
People.
The vice president in New Orleans today.
Now, you would expect this out of Kamala Harris. This is classic Kamala Harris racist from California.
It is about being blind to history, being blind to data, being blind to empirical evidence about disparities.
A majority of Americans, 53%, say affirmative action programs without quotas are still needed.
I dispute that number. NBC poll, affirmative action programs still needed? No. 53% of people, most people don't even know what affirmative action is. They don't realize that it's a racist policy. Explain it to them and then take the poll.
According to an April NBC News poll. But the Republican 2024 class says the high court got it right by removing racial preferences.
Yep.
GOP frontrunner, former President Trump, writing, "This is a great day for America."
Okay, so we've already seen that. Supreme Court will... so Supreme Court also on the bill. Supreme Court will rule on major cases dealing with student loans, LGBTQ. What about the plus? Rights on Friday. So Friday we have more coming. The student loan issue is fascinating. Does Joe Biden have the right to expunge all of the student loans as an executive? I hope he would. I think that is one in this lifetime reparation that you can make for a lot of people, right? A lot of people were in this lifetime bamboozled into thinking that higher education equaled higher earnings and higher status in society, which it really doesn't. It's a fictional theory. Remember, Abraham Lincoln never went to a college. Right? There's great thinkers. Trump probably, they say he went to Wharton, but he was probably outside smoking cigarettes or something. And LGBTQ rights also on the board to be looked at. So the total student loan debt would be $400 billion. Right? Would wipe out student loans and start that process over. Now, that would hurt these colleges that have been engaged in discriminatory practices for many years, this affirmative action nonsense. And that's a good thing. So I think that student loans, not because I have one or had one, I just think that that's a good benefit for people to get relinquished of that, or at least reinstate the bankruptcy laws. Right? That's the one loan that nobody can get out of, a student loan. You got to shift the money. You got to take out credit card debt, then go, pay off the student loan, and then go belly up. Right? There's ways around it, but for the most part, student loans are not expungible through bankruptcy. And thank you, George Bush. Thank you, Bill Clinton, for writing the bill, and thank you, George Bush, for signing it into law. So there's other stuff. I don't know what the gays are fighting about. Same-sex wedding cakes. They should win that. That's an easy one. Gay, lesbian, they're discriminated against Definitely more than whites, but equally. Right? If you're gay, you're equal. You're right in the same fucking discriminatory category as whites. So congratulations, Wall Street. Wall Street is getting paid right now, and we need that. We need that pay. We need that pay. So thank you all for joining me, Marcus County reporting. Have a great weekend. Today's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. So I like it. I like what I found out today. I hope you liked what you found out today too about your country. That the humans that live in this country realize that we're all in the same boat to some degree. Yeah. Some people were, more apt, more equipped to prevail. Some of them weren't. But however you got here, be grateful you're in America. Be grateful you're an American. I know it's hard. I know that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow today. I'm an American. What does that mean? America doesn't love me. I'm black. America doesn't love me. I'm poor. America doesn't love me. I take drugs. America doesn't love me. I'm a woman. America loves you. I love you. Think of it that way. Think of it as America loves you, and you have to love it back. When you love it back, it loves you. You have to give it first. Stop complaining. Stop the complaining. See you guys next week. Marcus Conte reporting.